All right, just sat down, opened my computer, and your boy Ren just dropped some new content. So you guys know we got to check it out together. This one's entitled Eden. No idea what this is about. Let's go into it blind. Let's dive right into it. Come on.
Let me tell you a story as old as time, the story of Adam and Eve. It starts with a God who wanted more. God had just created the heavens and the earth. He had the angels by his side, but they had no will of their own, and so the autonomy to love or reject him was never theirs. All but for one, the once called bringer of light, Lucifer, morning star. Lucifer was the fairest and most intelligent of all the angels. He was the closest thing to God's image, and in his likeliness, Lucifer felt restless. He began to question and doubt God. He doubted the hierarchy opposed upon him. He felt God was arrogant. In his frustration, Lucifer built a throne that stood even above God's and declared mutiny. A war ensued. God, being all-powerful, came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled him to earth. Once again, God was alone with his power. Perhaps from loneliness, perhaps from curiosity, perhaps from a desire to share love, God began to work on his greatest project yet, a being that would mirror himself, the human, two humans specifically, Adam and Eve. They were placed inside a paradise built for them on earth, the Garden of Eden. In the garden, God placed a tree that bared fruit that would grant anyone who ate it powers bestowed only to a God to tell good from evil, left from right, to live righteously or to sin. He named this the tree of knowledge. God told Adam and Eve they could eat whatever they wanted in the garden, but never the fruit from the tree of knowledge. And if they disobeyed him, it would be punishable by death. The basic way the story of Eden is told is that Eve was tempted by Lucifer in the form of a serpent to eat a fruit from the tree of knowledge. Convinced, she bit the fruit, she passed it to Adam, and he did the same. Suddenly, ultimate knowledge filled their minds, and they realized they were naked and felt shame. God discovered this betrayal and felt anger. He exiled Adam and Eve and cursed them with the life of a mortal. They would work, they would bear children, and they would die. The fate of a human. Now look deeper.
In the story, the serpent tempted me by telling me I would gain ultimate knowledge.
Yo, the way he's telling this story, bro, this is deep, man. I'm like how he's tying everything together, man. He narrates this thing well. Come on.
The fate of a human. Now look deeper.
In the story, the serpent tempted me by telling me I would gain ultimate knowledge and that God would spare me.
Both were true.
This wasn't some great deception, meaning that Satan, in the likeliness of God, perhaps understood his intentions. In fact,
the only lie uttered in the
Garden of Eden was
by God, who did not end up
condemning
Adam and Eve to
death.
This could be seen as an act of
mercy, but the sheer fact that the tree existed and that humans
were initially cut off from this knowledge
may imply some part of God was afraid that if humans were granted the gift of perception, they, like Lucifer, would have the power to reject him too. The fact that there stood a beautiful tree that could
grant this knowledge in the first place
implies that a small part of
God, supposedly all-knowing,
perhaps wanted and intended
the humans to
bite too.
In the Bible, Satan was an exiled angel of free will. Humans are exiled
descendants of Adam and Eve,
also with free will. Not only have we shared a similar fate to the devil, we were also both constructed in the image of our Creator.
Constructed in the image of our Creator.
Meaning our behaviors, in some shape or form, imperfectly echo his.
We could assume that this kind of
God has his doubts,
but
as the most
powerful
being in the universe,
he has no one above him
to turn to with questions, and no one to
doubt but himself, an incredibly lonely and isolating existence.
We must only assume that the common thread between God, Lucifer, and us is the desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness. If not, why would we exist in the first place? The constantly looping, bittersweet irony is whether gifted by some omnipotent God or simply a byproduct of billions of years of evolution, here we stand, in 2023 as creatures with free will. The only creatures that understand and define good from bad. Creatures with the potential of a god. And what do we do with that free will, my friends? We willingly walk to the edge of a cliff. In the name of progress, we jump off the precipice. The empires we build ravage the earth. The natural order of things are necessary to survive. Any systems which do not honor homeostasis eventually perish. Our free will overrides our own biological instinct. We can take more than we eat. We can kill more than we need. We can willingly create weapons with the potential to burn everything we've built to the ground. We willingly decide to bow at the altar of greed, the most insidious and destructive of all sins. We put our faith in corporations who pose as rulers. We willingly allow ourselves to be led by outdated power systems ran by corrupted politicians
and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion over an open and free land.
We willingly elect the corrupted when the decision was always ours to build something better. We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics. War, famine, pestilence, greed, these aren't things imposed upon us by an all-powerful God or by his demonic adversary. They are here because of us. Not because of free will, but because of our inability to use it. We must be motivated to be better, not out of fear of punishment of an eternal damnation, but because the choice exists, because we love ourselves, because we have the power to absolve ourselves of so much unnecessary suffering. Take a second to be in this very moment. In this moment, how much suffering is happening all over the planet right now? How many people are dying of illnesses that could have easily been cured, but aren't because of the selfishness and greediness of humanity? How many people break their backs and reject their own passions to simply afford bills and food? How many of us crave distraction from existence? How many of us numb that pain in whatever way necessary? How many children are being abused? How many people sleep cold and hungry on the streets? How many of us become cogs inside a machine that is destroying itself? How many soldiers have been forced to fight in meaningless wars? How many humans have killed for ideals they don't believe in or understand? How many people have died for the greed of another man? And how much of this was avoidable? As written in the Bible, Satan was not condemned to hell. Satan was condemned to earth. He lives there amongst other creatures with free will, who always had the choice and still chose their own undoing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our self-made hell. The bittersweet irony is this is a creation of our own design. I'll leave you with this. Consider what you have done here today. You have worked together as individuals collaborating to form a giant neural network, a hive mind capable of achieving incredible things. We have lent on each other's strengths to solve puzzles and decipher riddles, and we've done so to win money. Imagine applying that same spirit and determination to creating the closest thing we have to paradise here on Earth. By using the power of collaboration, we can work together to even the playing field for everybody. Our dystopias can become utopias. Our Jahannams can become Jannah. Our hells can become heaven, right here on Earth. And this sentiment applies to atheists, agnostics, and believers alike. Myself, I'm an agnostic who believes. I believe in us. We must do better because we can choose to. We must be better simply because the option exists. Thank you.
Yo. Hold on. Bro. Yo. So it's like Ren just keeps impressing me, man. He keeps pushing the boundaries, talking about real stuff. Like we all enjoy his music, right? But he's grasped the reality of the bigger picture outside of just music, bro. And not only that, I think he wants to change it. I think he wants to make a difference in the world, man. He's just using his voice, he's using his time, he's using his, his finances to inform people of what's of what the world is going to right now, bro. He covers so many different things in that video, you guys. And of course, that's not the type of video you want to just start and stop and talk and figure, you know what I mean? That was more of like a sit back, relax, take some notes, wake up, kind of like a shock a little bit to what's going on right now around our world, man. And everything he said was absolutely right, man. I 100% agree with. I was just thinking this morning, actually, and this is just one of the topics that he spoke about, was our phones becoming a problem. I was just thinking about this morning. I was like, yo, there was a generation before us where, being a 2-parent household wasn't critical. The government, made the welfare system and 1-parent households, and the agenda was telling people it's okay to be a single parent, it's okay to have your kids and raise them on your own. And when you look around of what's going on right now, it's kind of like, now is the most important time for us to come together and be fully involved in our kids' lives and be there and direct them and redirect them. Because, bro, the way the world is turning right now, and like with social media and stuff like that and TikToks and that, you guys, if you guys know my channel, you guys know I talk about this stuff all the time. But the way the world's turning right now, the future's in trouble. They're already starting to program these kids into thinking a certain way. You know what I mean? And it's going to take both parties, the father and the mother, to make the difference in these kids' lives. It's like, I can't express it enough how important it is for the parents to come together, man, and put your differences aside and on the arguing and the bickering and the nonsense, when at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is the kids. And that's what I kind of pulled from that video first, because I'm a father first before anything else. You know what I mean? And the future is always uncertain, but you see it for what it is. You see your kids on your phone just scrolling away their lives, and going to school and being taught this nonsense that it has nothing to do with their math, has nothing to do with their English, has nothing to do with their physics. You know what I mean? Nothing to do with actual education. And all these third-party agendas, man, is getting crazy, bro. It's getting absolutely crazy. And I'm glad that Ren actually took the time out here to just bring up several different things going on with the human race that is clearly a sign that we're not going in the right direction. There are people out here like myself and others who truly do care about the world and have evolved outside of this race bait issue, outside of the whole skin color nonsense. And there's levels to it. You got to ascend that type of mentality and realize we're all in this together, man. We're all in this together. As cliche as that might sound, that's the reality of it, And if we continue going down this path, y'all, we're not going to be here much longer, bro. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that, y'all. And low key, it kind of puts fear in my heart a little bit. But that also encourages me to be a better father, to learn how to protect the people I love in different ways. So I encourage y'all to do the same. The time where we were sitting back and just chilling and not really caring about politics, there was a whole generation of that, and I was included in that. You know what I mean? Those days are over with. You better figure out who's running your state. You better figure out who's running the city. Now you have to know, because if you don't know, you don't care, you don't vote. It's like you're allowing the agenda to take over, bruh. And those days are, you know, have to come to an end. We got to stand up and take back responsibility of our futures. And that's just the way it is. And I hope these words fall on somebody's ears that can take advantage of it. Big shout out to Ren, bro, for continuing to enlighten people on what's going on. And I appreciate it, bro, as a reactor, dog. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.